Next, a tomato dish that is a Southern tradition, fried green tomatoes, prepared by Chef Randy Page, assisted by Anisette Benson.
We've got our green tomatoes sliced, about a quarter of an inch. We're going to make a breading mixture of flour and cornmeal, a little salt and black pepper, and we're going to bread our tomato slices with that flour mixture and some egg wash. And we've got a couple of eggs, and the way we're going to make the egg wash, Anna said, is just to add a little water to that to thin it down just a little bit. And if you want to go ahead and do that for us, I'll make up our flour mixture. We have our flour and cornmeal. Cornmeal we find either white or yellow. This is white cornmeal. Either is fine, whatever you prefer. They both work the same way. We've got some salt and some freshly ground black pepper. We're just going to mix those together. And I want to show you, and I said anytime we're breading something, the best way to do it so you keep the neatest product, you keep your hands nice and clean. And what happens when we go from the flour into the eggs, we get a lot of liquid on our hands, and we want to avoid that. So we're going to always keep one hand wet and one hand dry. And I'm going to take the tomato and just very lightly toss it in the flour mixture, then in the egg wash. Then with my other hand, I'm going to flip it over, get it nicely coated. I'm going to go back in the flour. With my dry hand, I'll toss that. And that's all there is to it. And we'll take it out and set it aside. I'm going to make our blue cheese dressing because we're going to make these into a salad. We're going to start with some mayonnaise. Now, we made our own mayonnaise, but you can certainly use any brand of mayonnaise that you prefer, or you can make your own. Take our mayonnaise and put it in our bowl. We have some sour cream. It's tossed in there. We have some seasonings. We have some chopped garlic, some onion powder, have a little bit of white vinegar, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. We're going to put just a little bit of black pepper, some salt. We're going to mix this up. We have some blue cheese crumbles. Taking our blue cheese, crumbled it up, and let it set out to room temperature so that it's a little bit warm, and it will mix in with our creamy dressing a little better. We mix our blue cheese in, and we want our dressing just a little bit thinner. Once we get everything together, we add some buttermilk. That's our blue cheese dressing. This will keep in your refrigerator for a couple or 3 weeks, certainly. We're going to set that aside. Anisette is just about done breading our tomatoes. Now, the green tomatoes, once they're breaded in the flour mixture, we want to let these set in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes. That's going to help let the flour set a little bit so we get a nice crust.
While the breaded tomatoes chill, the chef prepares another Southern favorite, buttermilk biscuits.
We've got just some all-purpose flour. Got some baking powder, baking soda, salt, and sugar. We've got to take all of our dry ingredients, mix them in a bowl, mix them up pretty good. It's not necessary to sift the flour for the biscuits. Traditionally, the best buttermilk biscuits are made with lard. We're going to use vegetable shortening. It has no cholesterol. And it's helpful. Vegetable shortening is a little creamier, a little softer than lard. So I like to put it in the freezer, or at least in the refrigerator to get it really cold. And we're going to break it up into pieces, medium-sized pieces. And we're going to very gently disperse that into our flour with just the fingertips. We want to leave fairly large pieces of shortening in the flour. Once we've accomplished this, we'll take some buttermilk and incorporate that into our dry ingredients. And I like to spread my fingers out. Just very gently sift the mixture through my fingers until a very crude dough develops. So when we've got the dough just barely formed, we want to stop. We want to be very careful not to overwork this dough. It develops the flour, and our biscuits won't be as light. They'll be a little heavy. Very gentle. Now we're ready to roll out the dough and make our biscuits. Just going to take a little flour, dust our table pretty well. We're going to take this dough, very gently lay it on the table. I want to flour my hands pretty good. I'm going to be handling the dough. I'm just going to very gently knead this into a little tighter ball. Again, being very gentle, manipulating the dough as little as possible. Keep it nice and tender. And I've brought everything up to the seam. I'm just going to flip it over. A little more flour. I want to round it off. I've got my rolling pin, and I'm just going to flour a little bit. I'm going to roll out the dough. I'm going to roll it out to about a half an inch. And I can kind of tuck the edges in a little bit so they're nice and even. I'm going to have a lightly greased pan. Take my biscuit cutter, just a little bit of flour, cut my biscuits. Now when I'm cutting the biscuits, I want to make sure that I'm going straight down in an even motion and not twisting. If I twist or go down at an angle, my biscuits aren't going to rise straight.
The biscuits bake until golden brown for about 12 to 15 minutes in a 400-degree oven. During baking, the green tomatoes are fried.
We've got a pan, very hot on the stove, a fair amount of oil in it. And Anna said if you would bring me the tomatoes that we had in the refrigerator for the last 30 minutes, thank you very much. I'm going to take these very carefully and I'm going to throw these in. These are going to take about 2 minutes on each side. I'm going to get a little color on one side. We're just going to flip them, brown them. They cook very quickly. Anna said if you'd like to watch those for me, come over here and prepare our salad mix. We've got our salad greens. It's a nice mixture of spring lettuces. Put those in a bowl. We've got our blue cheese dressing that we made. And we wanted to put just enough dressing to coat our greens nicely. Set that aside. We're just going to toss those. Our biscuits are done. We're going to get those out. Here we have beautiful, light, fluffy buttermilk biscuits. Take a biscuit, and I like for the biscuits to be nice and warm. Really fresh from the oven. Just going to carefully split one in half on the back of the plate. A little bit of our lettuce. We want to make a very neat little stack right on top of the biscuit. And I'm going to go ahead and take 3 of these, nice and hot, set them on the front of my plate. Okay. Just a little drizzle, a little extra drizzle of dressing. Got a few red cherry tomatoes that we've quartered, just to add a little color. We've got some extra blue cheese crumbles. We'll put a few on top of our salad. The crowning touch, we're going to take the top of the biscuit we had, just kind of lean it against the back of the plate. And there we have our fried green tomato salad with blue cheese dressing.